G'day and welcome back for more Space Engineer Survival, and this one really is more, because this is the extra one, because I recorded for far too long last time. So it's time to get onto that server room for setting up our garage door opener. So what I was thinking of doing for this room is actually making it really quite tight on space. We can, I think, dig out a bit further toward the surface without really having too much of a worry. But if I go to this one and we get rid of that for now, and we go with our programmable block and our timer, we are going to need a few timers. First off, we're going to need at least one more programmable block for the control of our garage door opener type script, but we're also probably going to end up adding a few more scripts over time to this base, so it's good to have a bit of extra room in here to get more of those set up later on if we need them, or when we need them. So what I think we'll do is get a couple of extra batteries in here too, and we'll be met by batteries as we walk in. So deliberately not matching these batteries alignments to one another. Place two like that, so that'll be two extra batteries, and then behind that we will put a little programmable block, maybe that way. Then have another one here, and then we can pop a few timer blocks here. Now, I'm going to need a few of these timer blocks because the way the what I'm calling garage door opener script works is you can send a message from your antenna on your vehicle to the base, which the base's programmable block will then trigger a timer by that name. So if I want to do a different pattern of things, I can simply name a timer a different thing, different name. So say for example I'll have garage door opener and then maybe I want alarm and base lockdown. If I name a timer block that does all of those actions alarm, and I send a trigger alarm to the base, it will do everything that that timer block says. Or if I just have garage door, it'll send the signal to open and close the garage door, which will make more sense once I get more of this underway. So this is the rough plan for the moment. We'll kind of walk in our door into our server room, be met by the batteries, more timer blocks, programmable blocks, and hopefully this will end up looking kind of interesting. I do have an idea for the roof that I want to do as well. Something that's a little strange to me. Programmable blocks need 2 computers. Timers need 5. Would have thought programmable blocks would have had more computer components. Now, I need to do something because I think Igor has all of the computers. And a comment that actually came in while I was recording this, reminding me that Igor has pistons and Igor can probably connect to the connector that is there at the moment over here. If I move the nugget, Igor may very well be able to connect to this. So the nugget goes over here, and hopefully Igor will be able to raise up to this connector. Fingers crossed, it's low enough. Should probably even check to make sure he's got computers on him first before I get too excited. Oh yeah, thought he'd have all the good bits. Okay, reverse and extend. Perfect. That's right. I did think I'd set it up for this height. Let's retract so that I don't end up with the tipping over problem. There we go. Now, Igor is connected. So since Igor comes with his own adjustments, this can actually be his permanent parking spot. Which is kind of cool. Gives me a reason to leave those pistons on there. Yeah. Love a good excuse for a design flaw. But one thing that this does mean is if I want to shift all of Igor's components back through this conveyor system, I actually have to hook it up. Which means I should probably disconnect Igor and set him up in somewhere so I can use his components to build it for the time being. Drat. So, where is it? It's here. There we go. That's our hole, and we need to go over till here. Yeah, perfect. Alright. Even though I said I wasn't going to do this, because I've connected Igor up and I do want to use the components that are in him and I don't want to have to transfer them all by hand, I will get this done today. So let's lay all of these out, which means I need a bunch of different components to what I'm currently carrying. Nope. That ain't right. I forgot that that's actually on the lower level. I need one of these. That, then I can get one of these. Like that. And all the way through to there, and then that, and that. Done! I should be able to simply drill straight through here. Now, deliberately drilling slightly to the left here. What I'm trying to avoid is drilling out the back wall too much while I head toward our piston down here. There it is. Huh, there's a piston part here. And there we go. I'm actually happy that I finished that today. Feels much better knowing that all of this is properly set up. All I need to do is fill in the holes once I park this, because I don't have any steel plate on me. Should be okay to get over this hole. Okay, extend our pistons like before. And park. And lift the pistons, and we are good. Now we can check this out. So if we go with our cargo container on the base and we go with Igor, we can just move everything. Everything's working. Everything is as it should be. Yay! Excellent. And all of these are occupied. This is looking good. The only thing that worries me is that I still have not got a connector for the goose. And I don't think I'll be able to do to the goose what I did to the tick if the goose runs out of power. But if we have a look here, the goose has 3 days of power. It's fine. What was I doing? Oh, that's right. So now that that's fixed, we've got enough computers that are accessible that we can get back to our server room and get it finished up, or at least get it ready for our remote garage door script. So let's head in here. What did we need? Needed a few computers. Yeah, just computers and construction components for those timers. So that's a few timers ready. That should probably be enough for now. So what I intend to do with this space is... Actually, let's pretty it up now. Pretty ugly. Let's grab the remaining bits for those batteries, so we'll get a couple more batteries on the base as well. Oh, just shy of having enough power cells for that second battery. What a bother. Oh well. Let's go grab my hydrogen tanks before I forget, because I ditched them so that I could run back and forth with a slightly larger amount of batteries. And now, let's set up our script and timer blocks. First up, I'm going to go here. We're going to go edit, browse workshop, And it will be transmitter and receiver transmitter and receiver scripts. Okay. So this is where it is. Script setup. If this is the programmable block you wish to send message from, no, I do not. So let's make this false. There we go. That's all I need to do to set this up. Check code. Okay. Remember and exit. Run. Done. Don't know if I have to run it, but it seemed to make a difference last time. So this will be our PB receiver. Okay. Now what we need to do is grab our timer. So timer block 2. You will be timer block hanger door. Now I've selected that and copied it because now we need to go down to the hangar and set up each of our vehicles with a new programmable block that can control our hangar doors. And it needs to have that exact string that we use to name our timer block so that it can activate it. And I haven't fully set up that timer block, as I just recalled, so I didn't actually tell it to do anything. Timer, hangar door, setup actions, groups. It will be base hangar doors, and it will be reverse. There we go. That's what we needed to do. Now, let's set up the tick first, as it's the one that's most likely to head out and in soonish. So let's lift it up. Although do I want to place it underneath? Maybe I don't. Maybe I'll drop it back down. Maybe what I'll do is see if there's space in here. Ooh, looks like it. Yeah, there is room. Cool. I can put a programmable block in there. I could even move that one from underneath to there. Maybe we'll do that later. So let's pop our little programmable block inside here. Okay, so with this one, we'll call it tick PB. What shall we call it? Garage door. Actually, it'll be sending because it may not always send the same command. It'll be transmitter. Oh man. There we go. Eventually type it. Edit. Browse workshop. Transmitter and receiver scripts. This one we do want to leave to true. And the antenna on the tick is called antenna. Check code. Okay, remember and exit. Now, it is called antenna, isn't it? Yes, it is. But maybe we should rename this to tick antenna. Move it on. And it was that antenna that used up all of my power last time, I suspect. Tick antenna. Yes. Edit. Whoops. Check code. Okay. Remember and exit. So hop in. Now we grab our G menu. We go to our programmable block. PB transmitter for the tick. And we want run. And this is where we type that argument for our timer block. And this is what should control the hangar door, if I've set up everything correctly. Which, if you've ever followed me, might not be the case. So let's see. What happens when we press 8? Nothing. Nothing at all. Right. Guess we should set up some debug panels just so that we can see where I messed things up. So if we go and grab an LCD and we pop a little text panel on here and we name this debug, it should, when we run this script, tell us if I've done something wrong. Okay. Now it's saying transmitter prepped. So if I try and get both the door and that in view, and then we press 8. So it did transmit it. Now, is the receiver prepped? That's the other thing we need to check. And this was the thing I had a bit more trouble getting working. So let's pop a panel on here. Need a couple more pieces. There we go. And we'll name this one debug. This one is just temporary. Now what I want is PB receiver. Run. Recompile. Oh, there we go. Waiting for signal. Okay, maybe it'll work now. Oh, of course it hasn't. So, this is where scripts like this are really handy, where I was originally thinking that I had set up most of these things properly and that would all kind of work. But I did hope that I would stuff up something with the script, because it's useful to show you guys that there's often debug things like this built into scripts so that we can check what's wrong and so that we can fix it. Unfortunately, it can't tell me that I didn't put an antenna on the base. I wonder if I can turn on this antenna and have everything work. Let's see. So if I turn on the antenna for the butterball, will the signal get through? So we'll just ignore those 5 minutes I spent with the debugging because I didn't set up the receiver properly. So there was another step I missed with setting up the receiver, and that is... So not only did I not build an antenna on the base, I didn't actually even set up the butterball's antenna correctly to test this out. What we need to do is grab our butterball's antenna and assign the programmable block to it. I had set all this up testing it around in Creative. I remembered how to do it all, and then for some reason just completely forgot when I started doing this. So PB receiver is the one we want. Now, let's see if this works. I wonder if we have to do a recompile. No, we don't! Haha! Yes! Yes, 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 yes. Look at that. It works. I can control the doors remotely. So now all I need to do is figure out where on the base I'm going to put an antenna. And a lot of people suggested that I use a rotor with a conversion to a small block for the antenna. I'm not sure I want to do that. I kind of want to figure out how to put a large antenna on here, just for looks, really. Because I think we could put one like that. Actually, maybe one block forward. There we go. Something like that, I think will look alright. Yeah, let's do it. So we're going to build this antenna on here, and we'll set this one up to be the proper antenna for the script. After I just showed all of the little frustrations that can come up when doing these things. Oopsie. So I think I just showed every common mistake that anyone ever makes when setting these things up, except for ownership. Ownership was the only thing I didn't stuff up with that. Oh boy. Oh, so many people are going to be so frustrated with that. Believe me, I'm frustrated too. That was incredibly stupid. Okay, now that we've got a proper antenna, let's set it up to be the controller for the door rather than the butterball's antenna. So let's go to antenna, and this will be home antenna, and that's going to be set to PB receiver. And its broadcast radius doesn't actually need to be very far at all. In fact, I want to test something. I don't think you need to have it broadcasting at all. Although broadcasting doesn't seem to affect how much output you have. But let's test it anyway. I was hoping it would save me power by not having it broadcasting, but it does just make your base a bit more secretive. So we'll set that up like that, and we need to also get into this one and go none. And we'll turn it off. And now, let's go back to the tick. And this is a good test of the doors since I'm at the closed doors. There we go. They do auto open. Awesome. I would love to pretend that I made all these errors on purpose. Yes, it does work. You don't need it on. Awesome. I would love to pretend that I did this all on purpose so that I could show you guys a few of the mistakes, but the reality was, for some reason I was just distracted and I wasn't really thinking through what I was doing with putting together this script and its functions so that it's all working. It's actually incredibly easy to set up. You just have to not be stupid, and all you need to do is set up the programmable block on your vehicle so that it's set up correctly as the transmitter. And then the antenna on the receiving base just has to be linked to the programmable block that's got the receiver script. And it's simple. It'll then send the signals, control the timer blocks, and we can then remotely control our doors, which is what I want, because I don't think I'm going to need a control on the inside or on the outside. May leave one on the inside, but definitely won't need one on the outside if all of my vehicles have the ability to remotely control the doors, which is so very cool. It would be really awesome if you could just send a text message to the doors, but I don't think that's something I'm going to try and fiddle with. But I am very happy with this. We've got all our connectors hooked up to the conveyor system. We've got the tick able to control the doors, and the other vehicles that I will set up to do that as well will be, we need to have the goose get a programmable block to control the doors, and the butterball, and the ugly duckling needs one. These welders shouldn't need one, but I may give Igor the ability to control the doors because Igor is going to be responsible. Actually, the welders will need them. Igor is going to have to do all of the bridge, and the Buttercup is going to have to do all of the underside of the bridge. So I think every single vehicle is going to get one of these scripts so that it can do, so that all of them can control the doors. Let's head back upstairs and actually finish off the things that I was doing to make the server room look a little more presentable. Right now it is just a mess. So I'd like to do something with the roof to make it look a bit more like it's got some heavy duty air conditioning or something like that. And what I'm going to do for that effect is get some light. Let's grab, first up, let's put some blocks around the side here so that we can actually build onto things. Unfortunately, I can't project further through into that wall to make this really snaky around with all of the extra blocks in here. But if I do this in place, yeah, we'll just go with those. Place the blocks like this. Of course I don't have enough parts. I have to weld all these up as I go. Otherwise, I'm never going to get in there and finish them off. So we'll get these walls up a little bit. Then we'll do the next thing that I want to do. Which is, I think, leave that end bit open. And the reason I want to do that is if we grab some of these windows, we're actually going to use them to look like a vent. Do I want them this way? Yeah, maybe I'll put them that way. So if we place these all around, even above the timer blocks, they'll create that nice vented ceiling look. And because we'll be able to see through to the rock and see back, we'll kind of get the idea that there's some vents deep in there. But we won't be able to see much behind there. Conveniently for this server room, unlike the control room in the bunker, what we can also do is use the corner lights, if I can grab some, and actually create that blue lighting, but just normally. We don't need to worry about the offset this time around because these are basically, they should be getting glow from pretty much everywhere. We've got all these blue screens, we've got all these blue lights. Yeah, we got a little bit of green, but I'll mainly go for the blue color, I think. If we put a light in there, and then another light in here, and we'll probably just leave it at those two for now, since I'm not sure how far we're going to project into, well, project out here. It's probably going to be 2 more blocks. I don't want to go too far and end up popping outside. But if we place these in now, and grab this one, turn off my light, and something probably worth mentioning that I was informed of recently is apparently right now interior lights do not use any power at all. Like literally none at all. So I can have as many of these as I like in the base and not have to worry about power, which is, as you guys would expect from me, something I'm a little bit sad about, because I would like to have to deal with that as an issue. Let's put that up to 5. Way too intense. And then we'll fix this one up as well. Although I think this is another situation where I can't actually select the light. Yep. Nuts. Alright. It'll be corner light something. It'll be the most recent one. So that was 85? 185. No? 85, 215. Yeah, that's right. Then we can go and radius up to 5. And I should really remember to do all of the settings at once. Intensity down to 1. There we go. Now when we walk in here, we get the blue glow everywhere. We've got the vents above. May have to do something about the rock later, but I think for now, this at least feels partially more complete. Definitely needs these walls put in. And I think maybe even extend the range of that second one. Let's just make sure it's not bleeding through too much outside. This one's not. Is this one bleeding through in here? No. Good. So let's fix it up. 19. Let's give it maybe 7. Yeah, that's getting the floor. That's what I wanted. There wasn't any blue light spilling onto the floor, so I wanted to make sure that happened. Let's check again to see whether we got it bleeding through too much. Or a tiny bit. I think that'll look okay once we get our lights built in here. Because remember, we've got these hanging lights and they'll be able to be pretty bright. So that will be okay. Another thing I would like to do before we stop here is I actually want to grind out this whole floor and replace it because it's all wrong. It should be interior. I think it'll look better with interior wall blocks instead of, whoops, didn't mean to grind that off, instead of these light armor blocks. So we can do the pathways and things. I know we'll see it from below. Oops. Because this goes straight down into the assembly room, but I think it's still better if we change it to interior plate. We can always use some catwalks and things like that to cover up anything that's not quite right about the roof down there when we get to that stage. So I am going to grind out this wall like I just did, which means I should probably grind out these blocks as well so that we can continue the interior wall blocks all the way along so that their piping is added to this extra piping that's around the place. And whenever I get the chance, I should try and weld up any of these missing extra blocks. What we've got as our walkway through here is the catwalks and then the interior walls. But for these side corridors, I think we'll just go with the interior wall blocks. So we'll get the light strips up as this sort of middle row, which is the guidelines for if there's a power outage, you can still see. And we'll continue that right through to there. And then we'll use the other side as the rest of it. So it fits in with... Oh dear. That's not good. Okay, haven't seen that happen before. I think I just placed that as part of this voxel, not as connected to the base, which is why it all went very weird. So let's try to avoid that, as I very easily could have been a victim of Clang just then. That was rattling around a lot. It could easily have jumped up and decapitated me. Yeah. That looks much better. Do need to do some lights and some extra touches on the roof, but I'm not going to do all that now. I just wanted to get at least a few little touches into the server room so that I can think about it a bit more, having slightly better knowledge of what I've actually put in here. And I'm going to need to figure out how to get up there to weld those last vertical windows that are there, because I have not done them. That's something to remember too. But lots of little things to do around here, which we will get to. So for next time, what I want to do is go and get some more nickel. We are actually completely out of nickel. If we have a look here, we have nothing. We've got this tiny little bit that's still in Assembler 4. We are getting very low on iron. Yeah, we've got heaps of the components that are made from them, but we are getting very low on it. We're down to 6,800-ish. So it is time for us to get a move on that. But in order to do that even remotely safely, we're going to have to build some defenses onto the Goose just in case, which will be placing a turret up on the trailer here like I had in the version I've got on the workshop. And the other thing I'm going to do is get the ugly duckling, and I'm going to move some sandbags around the mine. But before I do that, the first thing I'm going to do is clear up this mess of the fleeting rivals that are up there. I'm suspicious that we're going to have to be careful just in case some of them still have active turrets on them. It wouldn't surprise me if their antennas are still intact, that they've actually got the ability to kill me if I go up there. So that'll be a little bit of careful salvage operation, and then off to the mining. So there's that, and plenty more to come. So I'll see you then.